So good afternoon, everyone, and I think I'm back now. Just wanted to say that I hope everyone had a chance to look at the declaration. The QR code was shared yesterday. We received a lot of feedback that have been incorporated into this. So the way we propose to do it is we would go pairwise and see if we have consensus in the room. The idea for the declaration is also to look at our joint commitment, our to build a common understanding, and to look at creating some focus in our work after we go away from this two-day event. So that's the first paragraph. I would request if we could also have translators for our waste speaker friends, so that they also know what's being said. So Harshit, you will. Okay. For Shakubai as well. And for Philippines? Okay. How do you want to do it? Do you want me to read it, or would you prefer reading it on your own? I read it. Okay. All right. So the first paragraph goes like this. We, the leaders, champions, and supporters of climate solutions, present in the first regional regional organics waste congress held in Bangalore, India in 2024, recognize that climate change is endangering our ecosystems, economic progress, and our future well-being, and have come together to uphold and promote the right to healthy environment in line with the United Nations General Assembly resolution in 2021 and 2022, declaring that everyone on the planet has a right to healthy environment and to fight against the triple planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution that vary across people and regions and the impacts of which are not uniform. Do we agree to this paragraph, or do we need changes? We will work the grammatical errors if the sentence is too long, but in principle, we would like to know if you're in agreement with this, and we will need to pass on the mics if people have comments. Okay. You'll be making the change there?
Soil.
No, I'm saying, will you be making the changes live? Okay.
We can add the max.
One thing I want to speak about composting biogas. Okay, sorry. One thing that I'm talking about is bioenzyme from trees.
Okay.
Which again is the added benefit of removing chemicals from our environment.
No. So we'll come to that section. So we'll start.
In that last line. Or we note the point and we can go into later.
Okay, fine.
Instead of the three challenges, we can add another one, soil health. That is climate change, biodiversity loss, pollution, and soil health.
Pinky, can I interject here, please? When we talk about endangering our ecosystems, economic progress, and future, is there for me, there is an emphasis on economics, right? And that itself is a problematic space. So maybe we might want to expand it going beyond. I know it does incorporate, but it might be limiting if we just look at economic progress. The terminology might be not inclusive enough, as well as the dominant growth-centered, economic progress. So maybe, and also then it does not include clearly people there, Yeah, I know the people comes down there, but also the impact of climate change, recognize climate, endangering, I think that's pretty much central to it. And maybe naming it becomes.
Okay, so because there are more minor comments to this particular document, what I propose that we do is everybody has a link to this document. If you have specific comments like the ones like the one that Odette mentioned, or like the one Roshan is mentioning, which is very critical to this particular document, may I suggest if you all could actually directly incorporate it into this. What we would like to get an understanding from everybody is if you are in alignment with what is being proposed, and if there is something very drastic, can we delete that whole the paragraph out? Rather than going word to word, because we only have limited time, but we want to get a consensus in terms of are we in agreement with the overall declaration per se in terms of the way it's been proposed and people have already given feedback. And let's go into the details. Sorry? So Nalini is proposing that we look at giving everybody 10 days to provide feedback. Is okay.
So we shared this draft yesterday with the hope that everyone would put their inputs, and we've gotten a lot of inputs and we've tried to incorporate everything. But based on the discussion, there's more inputs to be made. Unfortunately, we don't have the INC 5-day process to look at brackets and things like that. So we need to have a more efficient process. No, I think what we want to land at this point is one, the idea that we want to capture our sentiments via a Bangalore Declaration. That's the first one that we want to land with you. Number two, a commitment that if we open it for 10 days, that people who want to invest time will commit to it, and people who did not invest time is allowing those who invested time to make those decisions. Because we can't have people say that I don't have the time and will hostage the whole process. So would that be okay? That the two things is one, we will capture our sentiments via a Bangalore Declaration on organics and climate. Is that okay? And we will be given time to comment and update. And after 10 days, whatever is processed will be sent to everyone, and people would sign on, would opt in, whether they want to sign on or not. So if you strongly disagree and you comment, we'll try to incorporate that. But if 99 others believe otherwise, we'll have to agree on that. And if you don't want to sign on, that's also okay. Would that be okay as a process? So just to honor the effort that has gone so far, I'd like to invite Pinky again to just go through again, not focus on the words, but let's focus on the intent and the message that we have for this. And is this something that we want to invest our time on? Would that be okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Okay, so with the first one, we've seen through it, and I'm going to read the rest of it. The second para says we are strongly rooted in our communities, and we've been working to reduce pollution from organic waste and implementing composting, biogas, and other zero waste solutions. The third paragraph, we recognize the need to make an immediate and deep cut for our greenhouse gas emissions, both for carbon dioxide, both for CO2 and non-CO2 emissions, to prevent greater harm to our only planet. This reduction must happen alongside decarbonization of our economies. Therefore, we cannot adopt climate measures that swap methane to CO2, such as waste incineration, refuse-derived fuels, and other waste burning processes. We recognize that climate change is partially the result of systemic problems not directly related to environmental degradation. Thus, solutions cannot just focus on the market or unilateral policies, but rather must be addressed from a systemic point of view that connects them to interrelated factors such as poverty, gender, inequality, corruption, conflict, and war. Taking a particular climate action without an overall understanding of how mitigation, adaptation, and sustainable development actions interact and reinforce each other can be counterproductive and exacerbate the root causes of climate change. We recognize that effective climate action will not only reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but also improve many of the most fundamental ways in which society functions through associated environmental, economic, social, and political and institutional benefits. I'm going to take a pause for it too. We recognize the diversity in our communities and the diversity in our approach to climate solutions, such as preventing food loss and food waste, adopting organic farming and agroecology, promoting food donation through food banks, implementing zero waste systems, mobilizing and integrating waste pickers and other informal workers in waste management. We recognize that waste management is an essential public service where the role of the government is critical to ensure basic services such as universal waste collection and at-source segregation are provided in a just and equitable manner. We see that it is highly critical to have government's political will to support the mainstreaming of food loss and waste prevention and decentralized organic waste management through policy, financial, and implementation measures. I think this is something that's coming directly from yesterday's session as well. We recognize that the waste management system in the global south countries, particularly Asia and Africa, have been historically supported by waste workers and waste pickers as environmental service providers in the absence of a universal coverage of the waste management system as a public service by the government. Thus, we need to recognize and include them in the decision-making process for policy, finance, governance, and implementation. We stand by the principles of environmental justice and believe that climate solutions cannot be achieved without respecting planetary boundaries to ensure intergenerational and intragenerational equity, respecting all waste pickers and waste workers, enhancing inclusion and building from local knowledge, demanding response to pollution and environmental harm, and supporting holistic solutions through systems change. Roshan, that was your point on the document as well. So, hence, we declare that we will work together across the Asian and African region through knowledge and experience sharing. To strengthen our local interventions and create enabling conditions for sustainable solutions for climate change. We will work collaboratively with government, financial institutions, and corporations to prioritize the finances and grant an aid to support research and development in organics, waste reduction and capturing, awareness and capacity building programs to equip people to manage organics efficiently, infrastructure for better management of food loss and food waste, agroecology and soil conservation, zero waste businesses, and just transition. Yeah, actually. Okay, for those of you with internet, we're sharing the link on your WhatsApp. So you can read it. So I'm going to continue reading while you access the... Okay. All right, yeah. So...
We can start again with we will
Okay, so so the first 2 points we have read, so I'm just going to the third one. We recognize that climate sustainability has many aspects, including transportation, energy type, and source of food production, construction, green cover, etc. In our practice and in the solutions we propose, we'll be mindful of all these aspects of sustainability. We will ensure that we will practice and promote zero waste principles and sustainable practices wherever and whenever we organize gatherings and events. This also means we will promote use of sustainable public transportation, locally sourced food, and reduce consumption of energy. We will focus our resources and joint effort in a holistic approach where agroecology practices meet with zero waste systems. And sorry, there's a grammar mistake, we'll correct it, and bring communities together. We will mandate that environmental justice principles are applied in all socio-enviro development programs, and projects to ensure the just transition while achieving the Paris Agreement, the Global Methane Pledge, and ultimately the Sustainable Development Goals, among other relevant global targets. We mandate the integration of waste pickers and waste workers in the municipal solid waste management systems while ensuring that their autonomy and aspirations are accounted for to enable just transition for dignified, safe, and sustainable livelihood. We will promote the design, development, and implementation of robust systems supported by appropriate technologies, policies, and adequate finance to support measures for lowering methane from organic waste by minimizing food loss and food waste, capturing source segregated organic waste, and processing it in a decentralized manner, and establishing forward linkages for recovery of bioenergy and nutrition to ensure carbon cycle in the nature. We will demand that finance and policy must respect and engage waste pickers, waste workers, and local communities as the frontline implementers of these solutions. We will demand that all finance, including climate finance, must be delivered in a just and equitable way, where local communities, waste pickers, and waste workers have adequate access to it. Finance must strictly follow the waste hierarchy, or let's say zero waste hierarchy, and it must not be provided to false climate solutions, particularly waste to energy, incinerators, RDF, and other burning technologies. We will report back to this forum about the progress made and challenges faced to inspire and remind our governments, corporations, and communities. We, the representatives from diverse groups, public-private sector, non-governmental organizations, and the academia from India, Philippines, Vietnam, Nepal, Indonesia, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Zimbabwe, Tanzania, and the Netherlands agree to uphold this declaration and strive to implement the values, principles, and aspiration it states. So that's the declaration. So, what's the way forward? Are we okay with the intent of this declaration? Do we raise hands or do we say shout loudly yes? What do we do? Raise hands and shout. All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Okay. And for those who are still thinking, I can see some people are like.
I think Roy spelled out the roadmap. That's good. Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right. So
Then anyone who's still carrying a plastic bottle in this room, can we get them to commit never again zero?
okay, so we have 10 days time and we will touch base in 10 days. So please do add your comments. So thank you very much.